Okay, everyone, welcome in. This is Austin Cragen with Louisiana Guy Sports Talk, and I'm just going to get right into it today. I'm excited as an LSU fan because of some great things that happened with LSU over the weekend. First of all, last night it got confirmed that we are keeping Blake Baker as our defensive coordinator. This is massive news. I thought for sure he was a goner to Tulane, but he is staying on, which is another massive win for Kiffin. So every time, it's like almost every time you see a negative report about Kiffin down at LSU, he is pulling off another victory. He's locking in all of our massive commitments and getting a lot of people to sign on for LSU, committing. And so look, so far so good down there. We are winning. Lane Kiffin is getting one win after the other, and it's pretty weird to be this excited about LSU, knowing the season we just had and how terrible we were, and not even having anything to play for at this point. That's pretty weird, but I'm starting to get a little bit excited. Now, again, I won't be super excited till we start winning some football games, but I'm starting to get excited because it seems that Lane Kiffin is winning a lot so already down there, and we haven't even played a game. So that's awesome. I'm excited about it and looking forward to some more wins from Lane Kiffin. Look, today I want to talk about the CFP. And this probably won't be a crazy long video. I want to talk about the CFP, some of the people that are in it, who I think should be in the playoff, and talk about some of the people. We're just going to go through the rankings here, the AP 25, and just kind of talk about each team a little bit, some more than others. But um, I just want to kind of talk about some of these things, these teams and the CFP and the games, and I'll end with talking about the games, who I think are going to win the games today. So anyways, we've got the top 25. Excuse me. We've got starting out. We've got Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Oregon, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Alabama, BYU, Miami, Vanderbilt, and I guess Vanderbilt's number 13. So the top 12 tops out with Miami at number 12. So let's just start at the top. Start with Ohio State. Ohio State is number one. They're 12-0. Look, I totally think that Ohio State should be in the playoff. I totally think that they should be ranked in the top 12. No doubt about that. But I just got to get something off my chest with Ohio State. Okay, Ohio State never plays anybody. I can't tell you how aggravated I am week after week watching LSU, my team, every week. We gotta play Oklahoma now. We gotta play Alabama now. We gotta play Ole Miss now. Week after week, we are in a dogfight, fighting for our lives. And then all of a sudden, a score will pop up on the screen, and Ohio State is playing some random school in Ohio that is literally the worst school you've ever seen in your life, and they're blowing them out. I'm like, and they're number one in the nation, and they just have this free pass all the way to the front of the line of the CFP playoff. I'm like, goodness gracious, can you guys please play somebody? I mean, I think if I was an Ohio State fan, I'd want to play people to prove myself. But the problem is, you guys will talk. Like, I know lots of. I lived in Ohio for a little while, so trust me, I know I have lots of family members who are Ohio State fans and all of that. I've got so I've been around it all. So everything I do is in fun jest, but I seriously wish that you guys would play somebody. So this year, I will say, it looked like you guys were trying to play somebody at the beginning of the year. You were trying to play what you thought was number one Texas. We quickly realized they were not number one. And honestly, with as bad as they were at the beginning of the year, you guys should have beat them by a lot more. Okay, because Texas was terrible at the beginning of the year. They got a lot better at the end of the year, but Arch was terrible. He was on the struggle bus for sure. But this is, y'all played Texas the first game of the year. You won 14-7. I mean, that's not exactly a convincing win against a bad team. Yeah, I don't care what they were ranked then. They were not a number one. But then after that, I mean, look at this. They played Grambling, 70-0. Terrible. Some school, what is that? Some school named just Ohio. Ohio. It's got got a cute little bobcat on the front of there. Okay, Ohio 37-9. Terrible. Washington 24-6. Terrible. Minnesota 42-3. Terrible. Illinois. Now we play somebody who's at least decent. 34-16. I mean, you won it handily, but not like overly convincing. Wisconsin 34-0. No good. Penn State 38-14. We all found out real quick Penn State was no good. They fired their coach in the middle of the season. Purdue 34-10. No good. UCLA no good. 48-10. 48-10. Rutgers no good. 42-9. And then you play Michigan. You also but we played Michigan. We played Michigan. Listen, Michigan's no good. Let's be honest. I think they were ranked too high most of the year. I mean, they were 9-2, but here's the deal: Michigan doesn't play anyone either, and they had 2 losses. That's why they can't be ranked. You can't play nobody and have 2 losses and be in the top 12. You just can't do it. So, you've got Michigan. Michigan's no good. That's why you beat them 27-9. You beat them 27-9. Okay, you should have beat them 27-9 if you're number 1 in the nation. And they all make a big deal about getting over the hump. You got over the hump against a terrible Michigan team with a redshirt freshman quarterback who was stolen from LSU, by the way. Still a little bitter over that. But anyways, this is, look, a big game today against Indiana. We will see what happens in that game against Indiana today. Looking forward to that game, and that brings us to our number 2 in the nation, who is Indiana. And listen, I'm going to preface this by saying I am rooting for Indiana at this point. I know I shouldn't be doing that because I'm an SEC guy, but the reality is I'm rooting for Indiana. I like an underdog. I can't help myself, okay? And not to mention, all my family, my mom and dad were both, well, at least my dad was born in Indiana, and they all grew up in that area, lived there their whole lives. I was actually born in Indiana. I was 8 months old when my parents moved from Indiana to South Louisiana, and so Louisiana was all I ever knew, and so I'm diehard LSU Saints fan till for the rest of my life. Okay, so but Indiana, I'm rooting for LSU, for Indiana. I'm low key going for them. First of all, I'm totally rooting for Indiana to win that game against Ohio State today. I mean, I am majorly rooting for them to be go Indiana all the way. Today, with LSU on the sidelines, not doing anything but signing players, and there's no games to be played, you better believe if I had a Hoosier hat, I'd put it on today. Okay, so that's not how much I like Indiana. That's how much I dislike Ohio State. So I'm kind of rooting for them, but at the same time, they don't play good enough teams either to be number 2 in the nation. Although I will say this. Okay, I'm pulling up Indiana's schedule here. I will say this about Indiana's schedule. Okay, they didn't play anybody. But, okay, so they played a lot of the same teams, being in the same conference as Ohio State. They play a lot of the same teams. Okay, so Ohio State beat Illinois, what was it, 34-16? So Indiana played Illinois. They beat them 63-10. 63-10, they beat Illinois. So Ohio State, they won, but they didn't win 63-10. So I say, and then also Ohio State, last I checked, they didn't play Oregon. Oregon, who's still, what are they, number 4 in the nation? They beat them 30-20. That is a legit win. That Ohio State does not have a win like Oregon on their schedule. Now, so at this present time, in my opinion, Indiana should be above Ohio State solely because of that Oregon win. But other than that, of course, Indiana didn't play anybody. But I will say the teams that they played and Ohio State played, Indiana, they performed better in those games. But again, they played today for all the marbles, so then we can see who's who. Number 3 in the nation is Georgia, 11-1. Listen, Georgia's very good. I thought they had a slow start to the year. They didn't look very convincing, even in their wins. But it turned out, they played a lot of good teams, and they just kept rolling. And I feel like they kept getting better throughout the year. Georgia fully deserves to be number 3 in the nation. Oregon is number 4. Don't have a problem with it. Honestly, I don't have a total problem with it. But what I would have there is I would have Texas A&M there at number 4 in place of Oregon, and I would have Ole Miss at number 5. Now, Ole Miss is I'm just assuming that based on what they did with Kiffin and everything, I think that Ole Miss deserves to be higher. I think Texas A&M deserves to be higher. They had both those teams had great years. I think they had better years than Oregon or Texas Tech, definitely. Okay, so, but either way, I mean, it is what it is. They're all going to make the playoff. So they're all in the top 7. Oklahoma, this is where it starts getting a little dicey. Oklahoma, they had a good year. They played a tough schedule. Although I think LSU probably shook their confidence a little bit going into this college football playoff because just their offense. Our defense was good. LSU's offense was terrible, but our defense is really good. They did play. I don't think they're going to play a tougher defense in the playoff than LSU. So Oklahoma, you should be all right. You should be okay. Notre Dame, honestly, I'm super mad at Notre Dame because they don't play anybody and they're always in it. Like they're always in the playoff and they're not in a conference and all of that stuff. But I feel like they're playing tougher teams. I feel like they've been playing a little tougher schedule. So I'm okay. I'm okay with Notre Dame at number 9. You know, I kind of agree with myself on that. But I'm not as mad as I normally am with Notre Dame at number 9. But listen, Notre Dame, Alabama, and Miami, all of them, I would trade out of this top 12 for Vanderbilt. All of them. I think that Vanderbilt played and look, I know Alabama beat Vanderbilt this year, but Alabama, their 2 losses were to terrible teams. I think Vanderbilt lost to Texas and they lost to Alabama. And they lost to Texas when Texas was starting to play better, not at the beginning of the year when Ohio State beat them, okay? Barely beat them. But I would have Vanderbilt in the place of Miami, Alabama, or Notre Dame. Here's the deal. The CFP, they want those 3 teams. The CFP wants every excuse to put Miami, Alabama, or Notre Dame in because these teams have bigger fan bases. They're going to get more ratings in the playoffs. BYU, I am shocked that they're letting them hang in there at 11-1. I don't know anything about BYU, so I can't trash them. I can't really say a lot. I don't know a lot about BYU. I don't know a lot about their schedule, and I don't want to take the time to wait for it to load and look it up right now. But um, I don't know. They're 11-1, but there's a bunch of other 11-1 teams down here too. North Texas, James Madison. Come on, put Vanderbilt in there. Just put them in there at number 11. Come on, they've had a great year. Who doesn't want to watch Pavio in the playoffs? Who doesn't want to watch that? I mean, come on, put them in. And then you got Texas down at number 13. The CFP committee. They just wish so bad they can't get away with it, but they wish so bad they could put Texas in that top 12, even with 3 losses, because of all the fans they've gotten. They know the ratings would be through the roof. That's the only reason they're still 14. Texas should not be number 14 right now. They should barely be ranked. They should be down there with Missouri and Texas and Georgia Tech. Okay, put some of these 11-1 teams up in Texas spot. Oh, but they wish they could put Texas in so bad, and I'm glad. I can't stand Texas. Sorry, Texas. You just not a fan. Okay, so anyways, that's the top 20. Top 12 really I went through and what I think about each individual team. Now I just want to look at these games. I want to look at these scores. Goodness, I want to look at these games that coming up. I'm just gonna be honest. I can't say much about the BYU Texas Tech game. I don't really know what I'm talking about. Okay, so they are Big 12 championship. Congratulations to whoever pulls it off. If I had to blind bet, I'm going to pick Texas Tech because I did see a few more of their games. I think they played tougher teams this year for sure. So I would pick Texas Tech in that game. Let's do Georgia and Alabama. I think 100% I'm going with Georgia. And this is why I go with Georgia in this game. It's because it's not necessarily because of players. It's because of coaches. I don't have a lot of confidence in Kalen DeBoer. I'm just going to be honest. I just don't. I think Kalen DeBoer is a good coach, but man, he just doesn't. They're inconsistent for a reason. And if you just look at Kalen DeBoer and hear Kalen DeBoer talk, it's kind of like you're kind of like, you know what? I kind of get why they're inconsistent. Just listen to the coach talk. He doesn't walk around with a whole lot of confidence. He just doesn't seem like a guy like Kirby Smart. Is just like he's like a boss, man. He's like a mob boss. It's like, we're gonna win. It's like you go up against Kirby Smart, you're intimidated by that guy. You're intimidated by this team. I'm going Georgia all day. I think that they're winning against Alabama and they're going to be the SEC champions. Um, Indiana and Ohio State. Oh my goodness! Please, Indiana, win that game. Please beat Ohio State. Oh, I would just love it. I would just so thoroughly enjoy it if Indiana beat Ohio State in this Big Ten championship. Oh, I would just love it every second of it. So I will be definitely be watching that game. I would definitely be rooting for Indiana, but I have to be honest. I don't think Indiana's going to win. I think Ohio State is going to win. I think that they're well coached. I think they've been here a lot more than Indiana has, obviously, and so I give the edge to Ohio State in this game. And as far as who's going to win the championship, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of throw my prediction out there, and this will probably be. This will probably not be the first time that I address this, but I am going to pick, as you've got lots of good teams out there, I'm not going to pick Ohio State to win the championship. I don't think Indiana is going to win the championship. I don't think Oregon's winning the championship. I don't think, I think that Georgia, I think good old Georgia is going to win the national championship. I think that people, a lot of these teams in the playoff, they're going to run up against Georgia and they're going to find out that why you need to play better teams during the year. You need to play better teams. Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, Texas Tech. You got to play better teams during the year. It's going to come back to haunt you. Okay, so unfortunately, what's probably going to happen is Ohio State. I mean, as Georgia might end up playing against a cupcake in the championship. I hope that doesn't happen. Honestly, this is what I hope happens. I hope that Indiana wins it all. I'm just going to be honest. I know I shouldn't be saying that SEC guy, but I'm going Indiana all the way. I hope they win the national championship. But what I think is going to happen is I think Georgia and Ohio State are going to play. And I not only hope that Georgia pounds Ohio State, but I believe that they absolutely are going to pound Ohio State. And so that will be my pick. Um, That'll be my pick for the national championship, and that is Georgia winning it all. I'm rooting for Indiana to win it all. And so this is kind of just a first glance. I wanted to do this before the CFP actually comes out Sunday. And listen, please comment, you guys. Comment. Give me your opinions. I don't care how badly you disagree with me. I can take it. I just like the interaction. It's fun. And if I were to get enough comments going and subscribers going, I would do a whole episode just debating your comments and just talking about it and enjoying that. So please like and subscribe this if this kept your interest at all. I would very much appreciate it. And again, I will be very interactive with your comments. I'll do a whole episode in the coming days of the comments if I seem to get some piled up. So thank you all for listening. Please like and subscribe and enjoy you some college football today.